excited about the podcast. Good Lord. The best part of the show is the pre-party. All right. Welcome to Saturday Night Live Deep Dive, Episode 8, New Kid on the Block. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Delirium Tremens, because nothing says alcoholism like a beer named after DTs, which is a horrible concept, but look, the beautiful bottle is actually pretty. It's got,
It's nice.
it is nice. Alligators, some kind of dragon creature, and a pink elephant. And it's a family brewery, obviously. So tonight we're going to be talking about the first day on the job, right? The new job you're transitioning to. Ignore the whines of my dogs behind me because they're horrible creatures. No, so several of us who are on the show tonight have all just transitioned to new gigs, and there's a little bit of trepidation when you start a new job, right? You know, you're on the block, you don't know anybody, or you know a few people. You know, expectations are high. There's a lot of like, I'm terrified coming in, showing up on the first day. So we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight, and then pretty much anything else that creeps into our minds. So I know that we have Matt Lieb, who's on tonight, Kyle Murley, and myself. All three of us have just joined new companies in the last week. Matt's going to VMware, Kyle is going to Dell, myself, I'm going to Cisco. And then we have plenty of
little companies.
Small companies with, you know, small markets, you know, low little name recognition. They're all startups. I mean, you know, there's 1,000 startups out there today, and even some of us are coming from startups, which is kind of an interesting one, right? I think that there's some, you know, there's normally what happens, or what I've seen in the past, has been people go from big organizations to startups, and in this case, there's a couple of us of going from smaller startups to big organizations, and maybe we can talk about the reasoning behind some of that, you know, the pros and cons of that as well. So let's get cracking.
Okay.
You guys are so chatty.
We're all talked out from the pre-show.
We cannot broadcast the pre-show for legal reasons.
Yes, what we just talked about is illegal in 43 counties.
And also, it would mean that all of us would have yet another first day of work.
In the prison cafeteria.
County.
Generating events.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say I'm done with first days of work for a while.
Yes, that too.
Yeah.
Or even the first weeks or first months. I mean, I think, you know, the first day of work is that one where you come in and you're like, I don't know anybody. You may know one or two people. It just depends on what organization you're going to. I mean, myself, I'm going from a company that when I joined was 60 people that's now 300 to a company that's 70,000. A little bit different, right? I know a lot of people that work at Cisco, but it's not a lot of people that I'm going to be working with. So, you know, it's going to be a little daunting, I would think. You know, there's
especially trying to remember all 70,000 names. Damn, man.
It's hard enough I can't remember what the names are. But, you know, I think that, you know, there's something about that. Like, you know, I'm flying out to Charlotte tomorrow, the day after. Unfortunately, this year I'm going to miss VMworld. It'll be my first VMworld miss in 5 years.
Me too.
Which, you know, I mean, that's a big thing for us, at least the people on this show for the most part, because almost all of us will go to a VMworld. You know, it's kind of like the big family reunion for us.
Mm-hmm.
My 10th.
Yeah, it would have been my 8th, Timmy. I'm going to have to wait until next year for that, though.
Does this mean my alumni status gets revoked?
Have they ever gotten that right for you?
No, they haven't, because I've been registered under like 5 different email aliases. But then again, I've been so busy the last 3 VMworlds I've gone to that I've never even had a chance to even go into the alumni.
Dude, what's going on with the dogs? They're like making out with each other.
They're like, you know that they yodel, and so there's Zeus, lazy one, and his dumb sister Zyla.
One's like, hey, check out my tonsils.
That's the deep dive part.
Oh, that's
We are recording, everybody. We are recording.
phrasing.
Oh, Kyle.
Rhodesian Ridgebacks yodel. They do a thing called mouth wrestling. It's kind of a goofy dog thing, but or maybe it's just kind of dog incest. I don't know.
Or a prison thing.
There's a salad that needs to be
You
tossed.
got to go back there.
Didn't you?
All right.
Hey, Kyle, tell us about your new job.
Hey guys, yeah. So thanks for having me on. Can you hear me? Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
I guess I'd switch and
Say it
continue.
in Spanish. Say it in Spanish.
Say it in Spanish. Hola, hola. Yeah, I totally could.
Como se
Sure you could.
Every Thursday, it'll drop for the V Brown Bags every Thursday night in Espanol. I keep trying to get Gabe on there to present, but dude keeps talking out. I did talk to.
Spanglish is tough.
That's a street Spanglish. So yeah, like Gabe said, Gabe and I kind of similar. Leaving a startup, going to a behemoth corporation, Dell. One that we all know, maybe not all love, but somebody that I'd worked with a lot back when I was a customer, and had a lot of great experiences there. It's kind of was one of the companies that really sort of, if I can say, jumped me into this kind of social media. I got to thank, a lot of those people that a lot of them are no longer at Dell, that were part of that social media team that 5 years ago or something brought me in. It's also a different time at Dell. It's not the Dell that those folks were at, and I gotta look at that as well. But leaving a startup, joining a big giant corporation, there's a lot of cool things that I'm looking forward to. I'm sure there'll be stuff that will not be what I was expecting. So, it's an adventure. This is kind of my first rodeo. Some of you know I spent like 15 years as a customer, primarily in public sector education as a sysadmin type guy, the VMware dude for university and a couple of things. So this startup was my crossover gig. To kind of prove myself in that private sector, and now going up to the big D. See how it goes. Looking forward to it, though.
What are you doing
What's
at
your
Dell?
role? Yeah.
So I'm going to be an SE. It's an SE role. Putting some more S in my E, S in my SE, for cloud client computing. Gotta be careful with this group. I never know. I just see Damien just shakes his head, man. He just got that fatherly disapproval.
Wait,
So,
you said
so
cloud.
you're going to hook us all up for the Dell party at VMware.
I'm trying to hook myself up for the Dell party, and then everyone else. Yes. So the Dell party is always great. As a customer, it was one of the ones that I definitely attended, and I got things arranged actually prior to joining Dell, because to be at VMworld, because I was like, I'm going to start. What date in VMworld is when? So I got things set up ahead of time, independent, and got the go ahead to be there. So be there helping out the V Brown Bag crew, and
Awesome.
doing some VMUG stuff, and of course be in and around the Dell booth and meeting a lot of my coworkers, which will be nice, and of course customers.
V Brown Bag needs a gang symbol that we can throw up every time it's mentioned.
Yeah, I'm not really good at the.
Okay.
There you go.
We'll find something out.
Yeah. My previous place, some of you know, was
The
a
upside down grandma glasses are not a gang sign, man.
That doesn't. I can totally do those.
That can great, dog.
Oh, Gabe's got it.
Raise it
Is
up.
V?
Yeah.
BB.
BB. You got it, Timmy. That looks like ASL. That doesn't look like gang anything.
Yeah.
This is BB right
That is ASL.
That's
The Deaf Boys.
Like if you put your fingers together and
Yeah.
maybe-
No.
Yeah,
Open
That's
the
maybe that
door,
does not
open
look
the
good.
door and look at all the people.
that's a video phrasing.
Take it to church.
There's all the people. Got it.
Well, that sounds good.
So wait, so Kyle, let's expound upon that a little bit. Was Dell the only company you talked to? Did you talk to several?
Yeah. No, Dell was not the only company that I talked to. I did talk to a couple, including some VARs, right? A couple of resellers here in San Diego is here. And yeah, I mean, the opportunities are there. Somebody that I interacted with when I was out in Houston for Tech Ed let me know that she was looking for opportunities. See you, Gabe. It's cool. Ask the question and then just walk it back. She said, anything, just put it through, and by like Wednesday, I was like, this is like a humble brag here. Every week is not like this, but I just kept getting pinged. And a little bit of that was, kind of my own placement, doing things on LinkedIn and whatnot, to, kind of not, make it known directly.
Telegraph that I'm looking for a job.
Telegraph I'm looking for a job a little bit, and testing the waters, and the timing was right for something. So Dell was the one that I ended up choosing, but certainly there were other opportunities out there. The back channels are strong. So plenty of back channel chat. Gabe and I chatted a couple of times, and a few other people. So yeah, it's going to be exciting.
No, I mean it sounds great. I know exactly where you're coming from, because unlike anybody else who all 5 people who watch this show, but telegraphing a "When Do You Jump Ship" podcast, I did get pinged by several people who kind of read between the lines, right? I think I had discussions with 6 different companies in the last, I would say, 90 days about potential positions that were open, right? And the funny thing is even after you make the announcement that you're going someplace, I got pinged by 2 or 3 other companies saying, hey, are you sure you want to go there? We have openings as well, right?
Did SimpliVity try really hard to keep you?
I would say yes.
I would say yes, he says.
Right, with the underlying comment of obviously not hard enough.
Well, no, but
I don't. Once you make that decision, right? It's hard to renege on the decision. It wasn't a money issue, was it?
It was a combination of issues, and I think most of you who know. I mean, I've talked to several people that are here in several other times or different periods off air, where I talk about where I saw things going, the disconnect between myself and where I saw the company going, and I think for me it was not one thing, it was a culmination of several things that I saw as being incompatible or a reason for me to want to go someplace else. Mm-hmm. Others who have been there. I mean, I was part of the first 6 SAs at the company, right? I mean, obviously now there's 30 of them. It's just different. I think everybody has. Sometimes you get an opportunity that's something that you would have dreamed about, right? And then sometimes it's there are things that you are not happy with where you're working, or it's compensation that's not quite working out for you, or it's all a culmination of a bunch of different things that will allow you to actually start to make that look for another position. And I think it's different for every person. For some people, it could be, hey, you know what, I didn't get paid, or I didn't get a raise, or I didn't get what I wanted, and screw these guys, I'm going home, right? I'm going to take my ball and go, right? And other people, it's just like, I didn't get the right recognition, or I don't believe in where the product's going, or it could be, any multitude of different things, right? I think we all have different reasons why we decide to jump ship or go to another organization.
Yeah, from what I've seen out there, it's 9 times out of 10, it is not financial. It's more the wrong fit. You're not seeing what you want to see out of the company that's supporting you. You're not getting the right support. You're stagnant. There's a lot of other things that make jobs make you enjoy your job. And if you're not liking your job, why be there? And financially, that's the lowest thing. I mean, finance always takes a part of it, but it's usually not the key factor in job satisfaction.
Well, no, I totally agree. It's funny, and the funny thing about it was that I had not only did I have discussions with the CEO, I had discussions with like 4 or 5 different VPs. My own sales rep that I worked with. All of them kind of trying to get an understanding of where it was at. I think each one of them had their own idea of what they thought I wanted.
Did
you
they
know,
ask, though?
who's valuable to keep me on board, and I think this happens for anybody who's a valuable person or a valuable player in the organization. You know, sometimes people listen, and sometimes they don't.
Right.
Right. Sometimes they have their preconceived notions or their biases that don't allow them to actually hear what you're saying. Right. And that's usually a good indication of where you stand within the organization. I think we had the discussion with the last episode talking about, hey, if you jump or you're looking to jump or go someplace else, do you accept the counteroffer? Because the vast majority, I mean, almost everything I read, I mean, I researched this because it's like, you know, it was not a simple decision for me. It took me, and Damien can attest this because I've probably talked to him 100,000 times on the phone about it.
A day.
A day.
Oh my God.
And thus the bromance was renewed.
Yes.
Just going there.
Dude, he gave me a bros last time I saw him. He wanted me to be his gander.
But you know, I think that's a testament to the fact that you really, I myself personally really get, there's a sense of loyalty that I have to organizations that I work for. It's almost never reciprocated, right? It's like I'm really there for you, and it's like, oh well, you know, thanks for playing.
And I fully admit that I'm jaded and broken in some ways when it comes to loyalty to employers, but I see more and more often that it's just the way it is. Like at some point, having to draw a clear line between the community you belong to, right, and the employer that you work for, and understanding what the motivations are. And we've seen, like, I'm super excited for Kyle to go over to Dell. We know lots of good people who worked at Dell for decades.
Right.
Woke up one morning and were shown the door for literally, no cause whatsoever. I think that there's some level of that separating out the loyalty that you feel for the company from whether or not that's a great idea that's really healthy.
Water in here if you want. Oh, you have one. Okay.
No, yeah, there's I think for those of us, especially those of us who spent a long time in the end user space that are transitioning into the sales or the vendor space, it's different because when you work for company X, like Kyle worked for what was it, UCSD or something like that. I worked for Toshiba for 8 years, right? That's when you're doing that kind of day-to-day administration engineering work. It's a different type of job and loyalty aspect than there is at a sales organization or a marketing organization where there's results oriented and there's actual dollar amounts tied to what you're doing from a position. And if you're not cutting it, they have no qualms with this kicking you to the curb, right? It's a little bit different depending on the type of work that you're doing, right?
Yeah, and nor should they, right? I mean, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. The business has a business to run, and you are one of the costs of doing business. And there will come a time where no matter how good an employee you are, that just doesn't align with where the business is going or what the business is doing. And the idea is not to be upset or worried about that. It's to be prepared that if that happens, you have the community and you have the ability to go have a new first day, without having that be a disastrous, either emotionally, financially, having that be a disastrous event.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say this is probably the first time in my career that I've had, I've left an organization and not, either there was no hard feelings, like, the door's still open if I ever wanted to go back, and vice versa. Like, it's really different. It's not like
No, it's not. You can't come back.
You are dead to me.
Sorry, dude.
it was like I left,
I was
and
just saying that.
there was a big finger pointed my direction when I left. But it's
Your face is on a dartboard.
fuck you. You'll never work in this town again.
Oh boy.
What the hell?
That's Nyerman.
That's not. Oh,
it's-
Ricky.
He's got so many watches on right now that it's just, you can't even.
Bandwidth.
Is Greg a Cylon?
Jeep Grand Cherokee.
What the hell are you doing?
Holy
Jeez,
cow.
Cherokee. That's how you know
Cable
he's in
television. Yeah.
We've been graced with the presence of greatness, apparently.
So, in my case, leaving Earthlink was a pretty easy decision. I joined the company because I really wanted to accomplish some stuff, and the company's just not ready to do that. And initially, I was told that I would have an opportunity to help them change their practices as is, and turn them into a company that would be able to compete with the big players in the cloud provider space. But they just simply couldn't.
It's hard to do that with dial-up internet.
Well, yeah, and they have a million.
So you wanted them to get away from CDs?
No CDs. They literally have 1 million customers on dial-up.
Those 50 free hours on CD just weren't cutting it.
Bastards.
And Mike Preston is the 1 millionth customer on dial-up.
Hashtag VDB.
Is that because they've all died and they keep getting bills?
You wanted to fix the glitch. I see what.
That's an Illinois thing. No, but it became clear to me very quickly that I wasn't going to have any voice anywhere in the company, and I was in a market space where Earthlink hadn't traditionally done any of these more elegant cloud-like solutions. So I was kind of off in this island as the only person in the entire region that understood anything about application as a service, infrastructure as a service, and it became a problem for me. So I looked almost immediately to make a change, but more fool me because I didn't really vet out that decision-making process when I joined them.
Well, that in of itself is a pretty difficult thing, right? Unless you know people, unless you know the people you work with there, or you have a group of insiders that can really feed you legitimate information, vetting the health of a product, the health of a company, you can kind of get a general large picture, especially with a publicly traded organization. But let's say it's a startup, right? How do you go into that startup and go, hey, really, are they going to be completely open and honest with you that, hey, we have a product that doesn't work? We've had to do RMA most of the things we've sold. I'm not saying that about any company I've worked for, but I've seen it at other organizations where it's like, oh my God, they came in and like 3 months later, people goes like, I made a horrible mistake, right? Mm-hmm. And do you even put it on your resume? Those things where it's like, hey, I joined a company, and next thing you know, 3 months later, I'm like, oh my God, these guys are fucking screwed. It's hard. I think there's I wish Mark Farley, Mark Farley, he's a good friend of mine. He's been through several startups, and like, I could probably sit down and have a discussion with him for like 10 days on how do you vet an organization that you're going to join, right? Because that's a pretty difficult thing to do.
Yeah, he's made some really good choices, though.
Oh, I mean, I almost want to join the join the company. I mean, he's like employee number. And that's my ultimate goal, right? Those of you who are out there, after I slay it with wherever I go, I want to be like employee number 5 at a startup someday, right? It's probably not for the next 5 or 6 years, but that's where you eventually want to get to. Either that or become a VC person. I think I got the kind of chops for that, right? I'll just put it all on my credit card.
Right.
What are you eating, Jeremiah?
Nuts. He's nuts.
They're actually.
Jeremiah loves nuts.
I found them at the store. They're in fact strawberry nuts, which makes them even better.
That's awesome. Only something you can get in whatever country you're in right now.
Right, Colorado. Entirely different country.
But it's legal in Colorado.
Did you smoke illegal substance before you bought those items?
One could venture a guess that shopping was interesting.
I'm sure.
That's what it's like going shopping with kids, dude.
Never go shopping when you're hungry, man. It's a bad deal.
And never go shopping with kids, Damien.
Oh my God, it's like, oh, you friggin' stoners, can we please go home already? I came in for milk and I just spent $200, you bastards. And by that I mean my children I love.
We'll be in Boulder for 4 days. We spent $91 on supplies.
Lies. And it was all Cheetos.
There's a store there called, it's like
And
a
lotion.
mall called Build-A-Bear. In Colorado, you have Build-A-Bong.
Build a bong.
Glass, metal, toilet paper roll.
It's a guest bong.
And guess bong. Yeah.
Every hotel comes with a guest bong.
Hey, Damien, how many times have you
To the cloud.
how many times have you gotten to the checkout and there's a bunch of shit in your cart that you didn't put in there, but your kids snuck in?
Oh, God, I remember that.
They don't. But I do have a phrase that I say at least 47 times is, it's not on the list. And they always say, when's it going to be on the list? And I'm like, you got to remind me when I'm making the list.
There's always some reason, right, Damien?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. And I always put it back on them. I'm like, just remind me. And they don't remind me, so sorry, guys.
So you're teaching them project management early.
Yes.
Always a good idea.
Look, it's not in the statement of work. I mean, come on.
If I put that on the list, bourbon would fall off the list, and that's not going to happen. So
Right.
sorry.
Issue a change control.
Change control.
It's like, kids, here's the features we have, and here's the features you want. Which ones are you taking away?
Yeah, right. You want a dinner or fruit roll-ups? Take your pick.
You can't have both. You got to choose.
No.
You want Xbox?
Always going to be the
or
fruit
Call of?
roll-up.
Take your pick.
And tonight on Single Parent Talk.
You guys are assholes.
Dude, I think everyone in IT has been divorced at least once now, right?
Hey, I just completed my second.
Ah, congratulations.
Yeah, that was 2 days ago.
It feels wonderful, doesn't it?
No.
My third wife hasn't been born yet.
24 years going strong.
Woo!
Wow, Timmy, I'm proud of you.
Yay.
I'm halfway there behind you, Timmy. I got a dozen.
I didn't
You
make
have
it
a dozen kids?
I didn't make it to a dozen
I
either
Catch up to
time.
Timmy maybe by
Dale
then.
pays a lot
I
better
figure
than
at
I
this,
thought.
at this point,
Yeah, boy.
it's too much
I got those
bother.
benefits. We'll add 10
Plus,
more.
she makes me happy.
And now, what does this have to do with technology? Just wondering.
Absolutely.
When you're starting the new job and you got to enroll all these fruit roll-up eating kids, right? How do you pick?
It's like having a
Roll-up eating
newborn.
kids.
You don't quite know what to do. What the hell is this weird
Being a new-
clay crap they just made in the diaper? Like, I don't even understand anymore. You
All
won't
right.
stop crying. It's exactly like starting a new job.
Just like the first day.
Yeah. A job that never ends and no one ever says thank you.
That's about right.
I think I'm definitely getting Damien a Dad of the Year trophy.
No, don't.
Made out of that weird clay.
God.
It's a fleshlight.
That's not. Oh!
We're there again.
Oh,
We're on air. This is a not on air conversation.
Yeah.
Edit that out, will you?
Yeah. We'll just go back and edit that.
No. Kyle, unlike other podcasts, we don't edit anything. This is all.
I tried that. New policy is V Brownback doesn't edit either. My God.
Nope.
Never offer that again.
It's
Nope.
too difficult.
It's all live.
Hey, Gabe, don't look now, but there's a man that snuck in your house.
What is going on?
Phil. Everybody needs a handyman. That's Phil. GE.
What's up, Phil? How are you, buddy?
Hi, Phil.
GE. Let me plug his company, GE Healthcare.
Oh, my God. I need an MRI. What's up?
So he's not there to fix your refrigerator or your washer and dryer?
he's there for the guest bong.
He's going to be teaching Six Sigma.
Is he visiting your sick wife?
That's the GE way.
Wait. Does Greg have Google Glass on?
Yes, so he can Google.
No, these are my reading glasses.
Do you have Greg muted?
So he can watch while he's on.
Nobody's muted.
Is that how that works?
He's live streaming the live stream.
Silence.
For
Yo,
Greg.
dog, I hear you like to live stream.
Oh, no Google Glass.
No Google Glass. So, hey, Greg, welcome
No
to the
Google
podcast.
Glass.
Because you were like a podcast, vidcast royalty, man.
Yeah, well, I didn't know what the hell I was walking into when I answered my phone. I'll know better next time.
I'll know better to join the strange thing where people are sitting around drinking all night.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I need to get a beverage.
Yeah, definitely. Go get something and come back and visit for a while. We're talking about...
No, I'm actually talking about going to a bar and having a drink.
well, the beauty of today's technology and the 4,000 different Android devices that you own, you can take them and take the podcast with you. So.
Yeah, and get punched.
Oh Jesus! There's a glass hole right there.
Yeah, right. I noticed that.
Like that weird. Who's got the? Oh, Jeremiah. Jiminy Christmas.
I want to see if
You wasted $1,500 on that piece of shit.
How's that watch you just bought your wife?
She loves it.
I'm sorry. That was a little rough. Sorry about that, Dave. Yes, I wasted $1,500.
So do
At
you
least
watch
the
Thomas
watch
the
is
Train
something
on that?
usable.
You watch Thomas the Train on that, Dooley?
I can watch YouTube videos. I'm also going to take it. We're going ziplining. Me and the little man are going ziplining tomorrow. So we're gonna take the Google Glass so we can do some videos.
Do you have like the elastic band that holds it onto your head?
Yeah, I'm prepped and ready to go.
Because that'd be pretty epic if it fell off your head, and it's just
Really.
it's just a video of you going fuck as it like falls off.
Hey, did you guys see the video of the GoPro where like some dude lost it and then some little girl found it and gave it to him? But it was the video of like him in the rapids, and you see the camera fall and like sit at the bottom of the river.
Oh, that would be cool.
That's pretty
Hello.
awesome.
Yeah. Video is awful tonight.
It's Google. Google
Oh, of course I'm clear.
eats a D.
It's that web scale bullshit.
What are you saying?
Greg's flashing his watches. How many watches you got on right now, Greg? Just the one?
Just the one, but I have 3.
Oh, I know. I've been listening to all your watches.
Yeah.
Three
And lamenting that he can't do a podcast on his Chromebook.
You should be able to do it from your watch, man.
Yeah, I should be. I'm waiting for that update.
That is a big thing.
That's what she said.
Watch?
Is that a Pebble?
No, it's a LG Gear.
Yeah, and
Oh,
you,
new
now that
favorite.
I see it on you, your comment on your podcast was that if it looked, I don't know, feminine or something. It doesn't, man. I think it's cool.
Well, I think the white is kind of nasty.
Besides that, it's cool.
It doesn't.
Not
It doesn't hold
Not
weight
that there's
very
anything wrong with that.
Hey,
You just call
Greg,
his
did
baby
you watch?
ugly.
Did you?
You're right.
So, was there a topic tonight, Gabe? I forgot.
No, it's just general banter tonight, apparently.
I'm kidding you.
No, I mean, Greg can probably fit in on this. It's like Greg went from Chi Corp to a rather large vendor as like super mega evangelist. I mean, that's a pretty big transition.
Kai.
Yeah.
Corporation. Yeah, he's.
I don't know if it was that big of a transition because I still don't work out of the corporate office. I guess I maybe have a bigger budget than I had before, and that's probably the biggest difference because I work at Santa Clara technically, but when I'm not traveling, I'm here in Cleveland. So yeah, I wouldn't say there wasn't a mountain of adjustment. Just getting used to the way processes work with a different company. But that's anytime you change jobs, you would see that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big challenge between going. I'm like, I was talking about earlier, going from a company with 300 people to one with 70,000. There's a little bit of a difference between the processes, the pace at which certain things are done, the amount of impact that you can actually have in an organization at that size. I think some people think that, oh, hey, you're going to, Globo Corp, you're just a number, right? And you'll never have any impact. And I just don't necessarily think that that's the truth, right? I mean, I think
not at all. Well, I think it depends on the company. I know at HDS that That's not the case at all. In fact, I've gotten involved with things I never would have imagined that I would have gotten involved with. And part of it was the fact that my role had no definition, so we're kind of making it up as I go along, and so that opens up opportunities to get into things that I wouldn't have normally expected to.
Yeah, totally understood. I mean, I know Dave and I both came from small companies. Jeremiah went from a large org down to a smaller one, right? And so, obviously the roles that you're able to, or the impact that you're going to have when you go from a very large organization down to a small one, is a lot different, right? Depending on, what their corporate culture is like, how much emphasis they place on things like, social and things like that, right?
Yeah, but I think that's variable from company to company. It kind of just depends. HDS does have a really cool culture and a relatively flat organization that makes that a bit easier, in my opinion, from what I've seen of other companies. But my frame of reference is, a national VAR versus a 6,000 employee company. So I don't have a lot of context to make a judgment on that.
Way to hedge your bets there, Greg.
I mean, I can suspect. I mean, look, I've heard stories about how things work at other companies, but unless I've been in that environment, it would probably be unfair to speculate. But it's a pretty good gig at HDS. There's a lot of latitude if you're aggressive and you want to do things. There's not a whole lot of people that'll stand in your way and they'll let you try just about anything.
As long as your motivation is right.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's funny. My father-in-law had a great saying. It was like, seek responsibility and don't fuck up. And I think that can be something that you can apply to any organization, right? It's like, you want your star to shine, then go for it. But you know what? You better be able to know what you're doing, and you better be able to deliver, right?
Yep, I completely agree.
So here's a question, Gabe. What was the most terrifying part of your first day at Cisco?
It's tomorrow, or it's Monday.
Oh, okay. So what are you most worried about?
So I think for me the thing that I'm worried about, right, is so I'm going from a position that was where I was one of a small group of people that had a significant impact, or at least the ability to really speak to. I'm not going to be able to go knock on Chambers' door and say, hey, you know what, dude, we really should probably focus on this. That's a big difference, right? It's different going from an organization where you wear like 25 hats and you can feel comfortable emailing a group of VPs about certain things. Where it's like, I think part of the bigger difference or bigger challenge for me is going to be learning the culture, learning the vernacular, the colloquialisms around that particular organization. As I'm not going to work for
That's 300,000 people, dude.
Yeah. My neighbor feels like, come work for GE where there's 300,000 people. I mean, but that's just it. It's like, it's each organization is different in how they enable it. I will say this right now, based on what I've been exposed to so far at Cisco, they really do get it. The onboarding process is very sharp. It's very focused. They do a lot to really make you feel like you're part of the group. And like I said, when I fly out to Charlotte on Monday, that's going to be the real test of where it really goes to. I mean, I already have been getting feedback from people that I know that work there. Like, they're excited to have me on board. They're excited to be able to expose me to certain things. Now we'll see how that works, right?
Phrasing.
I was going to say you should move some of those people over into product management.
Product management is the bane of every fucking company's existence, isn't it? I mean, finding good product managers is almost impossible, it seems like sometimes, right?
I don't think so. I think it can be done and done artistically, but I think it's very often an exercise in not telling the truth, and not telling the truth well.
So they're politicians, is what you're saying.
I am. I think that politics enters into that very heavily.
No, and it just as well as Dave and several of us know, because sometimes in a smaller organization, product management is basically just kind of this buffer that basically cannot tell the truth to save their life, right? It's like, oh, that's coming, or that's
coming. That's always the word.
Like, you know what?
Next quarter.
It's spring.
Right.
You know, it's not like, oh, it's going to come out on March 21st. No, it's spring or it's fall. Fall could be December 21st, right?
They never say what year, spring of which year.
Which is the way it should be.
Tell them nothing is the fourth rule of Linux administration. Followed by always know what you're doing, never make a mistake, CP before you VI, and tell them nothing. Those are the 4 rules. If you know those 4, you can manage any Linux systems.
Yeah.
CP before VI.
We need to make the 4 rules of VMware administration.
RTFM.
First, 1 vCPU, 2 gigs of RAM.
Right.
That's the start of all virtual machines.
2 girls, 1 cup.
Oh,
God.
2 guys, no sand. Oh my God, worst.
Oh God. That's like the creepiest avatar ever. Hey Jeremiah, I'm gonna take half of your face and half of my face, and then we're gonna make a Twitter profile.
Oh.
Why possibly would we do that?
Why?
That's horrifying.
Because we'll make the ugliest human being ever.
It's like the human centipede.
I don't even know what to do with that, Dave.
Oh my God, Gabriel, way to
He's so sorry.
You just dove into the sewer with that one, so to speak.
I've never seen the movie.
You don't have to see the movie.
There's a movie.
Don't Google it, Kyle.
Yeah, really. What is Google that? Don't do it.
You know you want to. Don't do it.
I just did it on the other monitor.
Oh,
Don't.
I gotta turn this off. Sorry.
Look of horror.
do it from a burner.
Incognito mode engage.
I don't think my phone has ever been out of incognito mode.
Is that a Chrome option now? Just all the time incognito?
I think that's the Apple default, right?
It is on Safari, yeah.
Hey, do you guys see the moon behind me? That's pretty cool.
It's supermoon tonight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow night is supermoon.
That's a big ass moon though behind your head.
Yeah, let's get concerned if it gets closer.
Right. It's the Perseid meteor showers the next 3 days as well, so while we're up here in the mountains, I'm hoping to take the kids out and watch a little bit.
You should do that and zip line at the same time.
A zip line
fun.
while moon watching would be pretty epic.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
I have ziplined in Costa Rica, but not at night. That would be pretty cool. And scary a little bit.
Yeah.
Ziplined in Alaska, over a mile long, hit 65 miles an hour. Friggin' incredible.
Wow.
Wow, a mile, like all one?
All one. Goes off a cliff on the top of a mountain, goes
Awesome.
all the way down for a mile. Incredible.
At the end, you get eaten by bears.
There are bears, yeah. You just have to avoid them.
You get shot by Sarah
Very
Palin.
cool.
Can you see Russia while you're up there?
Russia's right there, you know.
From a
What a way to
helicopter.
go. What a way to go. You live your entire life to get killed by Sarah Palin. Jesus.
They should give you like a shotgun or a weapon while you're on the zip line, and you can shoot creatures big and small while you zip line.
Do you get to fight Sarah Palin with a logic hammer?
Or the grammar hammer. That's the one I want to use.
Plus one logic hammer.
Darn tootin'.
It's the sword of reason. No.
Well, her and Rick Perry both. We could both fight them at the same time.
You know, but they would make some pretty babies, though. That have perfect
That
hair.
would be a good-looking kid.
Yeah.
With like an IQ of like 3.
Yes, and they would hate everyone that wasn't white or straight.
That's true.
Wow. Wait a
Wow,
minute.
this is really
We've gone way off target.
This has got to be the worst one ever, Dave. I'm glad to be here when the show jumps the fucking shark.
God, this show has been awful. And
I feel sorry for Banta. Like you should be here to observe this kamikaze podcast.
we're missing Amy, we're missing Andy, and that usually throws the whole show off completely.
Oh, Amy would have bounced an hour ago.
No help at all.
Amy would have found an excuse 20 minutes ago to drop off of this.
She would have bounced during the pre-show.
You guys are lame. I will never ever join this show again. The guy with the creepy eyebrows, I'm terrified.
I would be too.
I think as soon as Tim pulled out the sex you're getting is not the sex you want.
Well, it may have been the 2 girls, 1 cup.
Yeah, Tim, you have to reiterate that point of your first day on the job. Wait, what are you thinking?
So the last 15 minutes are going to get completely cut in post. Like it's just
There is
gone.
no post. I never edit any of this. It goes, do it live.
Maybe that's why your following is so large.
Hey, I had 4 people told me they watched the last episode.
I wasn't on the last episode.
And I was
watched.
when I was telling you that I watched the episode. Was it me? Because that doesn't count.
I don't
I was actually at a VMUG and somebody was, hey, I saw you on that Saturday Night Live podcast. I'm like, so you're the guy that watched it.
Yeah, right.
It's like, no, and the point where somebody tells me is like, oh, I watched it, it was great. I'm like, I start to cringe. I'm like, oh my God, really? I'm
What are you
embarrassed
gonna say?
every time I do it. But it's, that's the whole part of building a show or building some kind of following. I mean, this is different than anything else that I think is out there. I mean, obviously, Greg can speak to this better because he does a podcast where people actually want to listen to it. We just kind of have like a Saturday night thing where we all talk shit for like an hour and a half.
Well, because here's the thing. If all of us were in the same place, we would all go out and drink together and have these conversations. This is just the next best thing.
True.
It's a
Very
ability
true.
to do this over distance, right? Because, as much as I would like to spend every weekend with you guys drinking, I can still do it over the interwebs.
And we got to meet Tim's wife and see the inside of his camper out in the woods
Exactly.
somewhere. So
Exactly.
The backwoods of Maine.
Nice.
we got to meet Gabe's neighbor.
Yep.
My neighbor Phil.
We got to watch his dogs make out.
Yeah.
Like, where do you get this sort of stuff?
Boy, you guys should have brought me on earlier. This sounds like fun.
Oh, you missed out, dude.
You missed
You can't buy this entertainment.
Apparently.
I'm going to step away for a scotch, gentlemen.
We kicked it off in some dialect of Texan or Southern California that I didn't understand.
Wait, they have dialects? That's something that cracks me up. It's like people are like, oh, I love your accent. I'm like, dude, they don't have accents in California. It doesn't exist. It's like,
Yeah, they do.
No, they
They
don't.
live in the Midwest, they do. They sound like they do.
We just speak English. I don't know what it is. Everybody speaks west or east of, Riverside, California. It's not American.
We don't have accents in Maine either.
Bullshit. 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 All right, so are we just done at this point, or are we going to try to bring it in?
We'll call this one early tonight. One, I have a Satan's child in the background. Children of the Corn, as I so lovingly refer to them. Probably one of the weirder episodes we've done, but I'm sure the post party is going to be awesome. So we will go ahead and call this one a night. Thanks for all 2 of you who watched, because we do have 2 viewers. I can't tell if that's my grandparents watching from beyond.
Hi, Grammy.
We actually kind of like to watch your show. It's great.
I miss you, Grandma. You were awesome.
I miss you more, Grandma.
Grandma, we'll see you tomorrow.
Gam.
What is this two girls thing? Should I YouTube that?
No.
No, Grandma, no. The angels will cry. Don't do it. Don't do it, Grandma.
I'm so waiting for a company, instead of like fail well, they do like an ASCII goat scene, right?
I think we got to go out on that.
Oh yeah.
Drop the handout.
We will drop it like it's hot. We will see you next time we have something of this. I'm stopping the broadcast now.
Are you really stopping?
I'm really stopping.
Wait until it says off air.